What is up, everybody? Welcome to Ken's Movie Experience, episode 13. That is right, guys. We are here tonight. It is a Sunday night. It is Easter. How was everybody's holiday? How are you all doing tonight? Did you eat a bunch of awesome food items today? Because right before I came on here, I gorged myself right after I got off work with a bunch of food. And now I just feel like taking a nap. But instead of doing that, I am here tonight with you guys hanging out. We're going to be talking about some movies. We're going to be reacting to some trailers. We're going to be talking about Black Widow, Space Jam, Godzilla versus Kong, everything I watched in the month of March, which is like 29 different movies. Tons of stuff to talk about here tonight, guys. But yeah, happy to be here tonight talking to you guys. We got about 5 people in here. Bunch of people in the chat saying hey, so let me say hey to everybody that is in here. As you guys know, this is the place that we come to talk about movies for as long as we want. It is my weekly Sunday night stream, kind of a therapeutic stream, if you will, because again, I've worked all weekend. I've got 42 hours in over 3 days. I'm a little drained, but I love coming here and talking movies every Sunday night with you guys. So let's go ahead and get into the chat. We got Danny K Reviews. He says, what it do? What it do, Danny K? How are you doing tonight? We got 4K Corner here. He says, what's up, Danny? And 4K Corner says, sure you want to do a reaction or review? I see the community is riled up right now over one of those. It is what it is. If people get upset over my reactions or reviews, and I don't know. I guess the safe thing to say is I will be accepting to everybody's favorite franchise, and I will like everything. Is that okay? Yeah, we'll do that. Danny K Review says, "What's your time zone? I'm getting ready for bed because I gotta get up at 5 a.m. Too bad you don't do these earlier. I would stick around, but I usually catch the replays." Yeah, I mean, I appreciate any time you spend checking me out. If you're in the chat right now, if you watch the replay, stick in here for 5-10 minutes, like that's all cool with me. I just appreciate you being here. But yeah, pretty much I work all day on Sunday, so I really have time. 9:30 is pushing it, like I'm scrambling to get everything together for tonight's show. So yeah, and just during the week while I don't go live earlier, I got kids, I got family. I can't be going live throughout the day and stuff. And I'm kind of a night person. I like staying up late. So what better time to do it than when I'm already up anyway? So yeah, I'm sorry you couldn't catch us live, but I'm glad that you'll be able to watch the replay. Martinez Joe is here. He says hi. The new winner over on the movie collection battle. He actually won his first match. He did something that I haven't been able to do in 3 matches yet. He actually won the movie collection battle. So congratulations, Martinez Joe, from last Thursday night. If you guys haven't checked that out on 4K Corners channel, definitely do that. It was a great match between him and Joey Movies Blog, I think it was. Tiana Loves Movies is here. She says, hey, Tiana, how are you doing tonight? Alex Thomas is here. Yo, what's good, everybody? What is up, Alex Thomas? How you doing tonight? I guess I'll go ahead and announce it right now, but Alex Thomas will be on the channel this Tuesday. He will be on the world's biggest collector podcast. We're going to be talking movies and a bunch of awesome stuff. So definitely tune into that this Tuesday night. So yeah, Cryptic Monster is here. Hi-yo, what is up, Cryptic Monster? How are you doing tonight? Let's Talk Nerd is in the house. Hello, everyone. What is up, Let's Talk Nerd? I know Let's Talk Nerd like Godzilla versus Kong. I've seen him talking about it quite a bit. Actually did a review for it on his channel, so definitely go check him out. Tony Movie Chappie, D9, Neil Blomkamp, #1 fan. Hey, Ken, and happy Easter. Happy Easter, Tony. How are you doing tonight, man? He says he's been doing pretty well. Side Hustle Cinema is in the house. Happy Easter, everybody. What is up, Side Hustle? Alex Thomas is here. Happy Easter, everyone. I didn't even celebrate today. No food or anything. I mean, I didn't really celebrate either. Like I said, I was at work. I was working all day. I got to celebrate a little bit when I got home and ate a bunch of delicious food and stuffed myself way too much. And now, like I said, I'm getting ready to pass out. But hopefully I will be able to stay awake for you guys. Jorge Corner says, happy Easter. Happy Easter, man. Hope you had a good one with your family. Maybe watch the Ten Commandments on 4K. I don't know if you had time for that or not. Unwrap the Movies is here. What's up, Ken? What is up, Unwrap the Movies? Unwrap the Movies had an awesome live stream event today while I was at work. I was finishing up my emails and stuff, end of shift stuff at the end of my shift. I was catching him on his live stream. So he does some awesome live streams, some really interactive ones. So definitely check him out on his channel. So, and you said you were going to watch your next. I don't remember if it's been enough time since we got off of that. It's been about an hour and a half or so. Did you watch your next yet? Because I'm really interested to hear your thoughts about that movie. I love it. Unwrap the Movie says Happy Easter. Alex Thomas says, what's up 4K Corner? Jeff Assassin says, hey Ken, do you have any region-free Blu-ray players? I do not as of right now, Jeff, but that is in the works. I promise you, because I want to be able to watch my Dawn of the Dead Blu-ray set that I got. So Alex Thomas says, what's up, Unwrap the Movies? Everybody's saying hey to each other. Let's see. Red 4K says, Ken, what is up, Red 4K? How you doing? How was How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, by the way? I know you watched that last night with your girl, and I hope that you enjoyed it, because that is one of the romantic comedies that I actually do enjoy. I was being genuine when I replied to you on Instagram. So, Matthew McConaughey, Kate Hudson, you can't beat that. That's a good movie. It's a damn good movie. Unwrap Them Movie says, what's up, Alex Thomas? Bill Tyrell says, what up, sir? What is up, Bill Tyrell? How are you doing tonight? Christopher Walken is in the house. Happy you could be here tonight, Christopher Walken. I don't know if I could do a Christopher Walken impression right now, but I'm trying to think. I don't think I can pull anything out. That's all I got. Sorry, guys. Tiana Loves Movie says, just finished watching Sully with Tom Hanks. That was a pretty good movie. I actually liked that one quite a bit. It kind of drug a little bit, but it was really just the retelling of the same story, like from many different angles, but I thought it was pretty cool. Cryptic Monster says, anyone watch Avenger AMGN Ran? I don't know if I've ever heard of that, man. I don't know if I've ever heard of that. Tiana Loves Movie says, what's up? What is everybody watching tonight? Hopefully you're watching Ken's movie experience right here and now. Rev 4K, hit me with a super chat, man. I appreciate that, man. 2 weeks in a row. You're awesome, Rev. Let me see what he says. We may hate ET, but we love mid-level media. Thank you, Rev. I really appreciate that, man. And you know what? You hate ET. It's okay. It's okay. But at least you still own a copy on physical media. So that's always good. 4K Corner says, Tiana Love Movies. How's it been debating the 4K for a long time? Yeah. Tiana Loves Movies, and hit me with a super chat. Thank you, Tiana. I really appreciate that. Happy Easter to you. I hope you had a good one. 4K Corner says, I watched an hour and a half of the 10 Commandments today. So you got about a fourth of the way through it, I think. How long is that movie? Is that like a 6-hour movie or something? I remember it being super long when I was a kid. Alex Thomas says, I'm currently watching the Last Dance documentary right now. Have you ever seen it? Again, no, I have not. I'm not a huge sports guy. I have heard that it's a really good documentary, though, so I do want to watch it at some point because I love documentaries. So, yeah, I definitely want to check that out at some point because I've heard some good things. And I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix, too, by the way. So, Rev 4K says, you were being genuine. It was okay, but still a pile of trash. That's your way of saying that you kind of liked it, I think. Unwrap Them Movie says, I finished it, enjoyed the hell of it, love that kill where that girl tries running out of the house, her throat kicked by the wire. It's bloody fun. Oh man, spoiler alert. But yeah, that's a great kill, by the way. That is a great kill. Unwrap Them Movie says, Ken's movie experience, pray hands 100. Glad you could be here tonight, man. I appreciate that. Cryptic Monster, sorry that RAN thing was a typo. The AMG stands for Angry Video Game Nerd. I'm on a tablet and it's a pain to type on it. It's really touchy. I've heard of him, but I've never actually watched him. So, but I have heard of that name before, Cryptic. Tony Movie Chap says, I personally hated the 10 Commandments. I just thought it was very boring and I'm not really into religion movies. Well, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. I like I said, I've never seen it. I remember it being on TV when I was a kid and I didn't really even want to get into it because, yeah, just as a kid, that kind of movie looked kind of boring. But unwrap them movies. I watched the first 2 hours yesterday and finished the rest this morning of the 10 Commandments. It's about 4 hours long. Damn, that's long. Is that on one disc? Is that on one disc, the 4K, or is it on multiple discs? Jared Runner says, I'm back. Awesome, Jared. I'm glad you could be here tonight. Let's see. Alex Thomas says, yes, it is on Netflix, but I'm watching it on Blu-ray. Physical media forever. I know, man. I know, but I don't know if I'm going to buy it if I haven't seen it. If I see it and I really like it, I might buy it. But Dwayne Swartz says, hey, Ken, so what's your reaction on Godzilla versus King Kong? We're going to talk about Godzilla versus King Kong here in a little bit, Dwayne. Don't you worry. But right now we are going to react to this. What are we going to do first? We're going to do Space Jam first. That's what we're going to do. We're going to react to the Space Jam trailer because yesterday, out of nowhere, 2 big trailers drop while I'm at work. And I boot up my YouTube on break and I see like everybody and their mama doing trailer reactions to both Space Jam and Black Widow. And like trailers don't usually drop on Saturdays like that. So I'm not really sure like what was going on. If there's like a special event yesterday that I wasn't aware of, or maybe I was aware of it and I'm just not putting 2 and 2 together. But yeah, I have not watched either of these trailers yet. I thought that I would save them for tonight's show because this is the show where we just talk about movies and stuff. And of course, still talk about some physical media, but this is the kind of the show where I do the trailer reactions, where I talk about movies, do reviews, and just talk to you guys about those sort of things. So let's go ahead and boot up this Space Jam Legacy trailer. Let's see if I can figure this out. And I already got my earphones in, so that's not going to be a problem this week. But yeah, while I'm watching the trailer, if you guys want to leave your thoughts on the Space Jam trailer in the chat, and we'll read it right after I get done watching it. All right. So as always, let me know if there's a problem with the audio or anything, because I want to make sure I do this right. Let's see. All right. It is shared. So let's go full screen and let's play this bad boy.
Basketball camp is next weekend. You got amazing potential on the court, and I can help you get there.
That's not what I want, Dad. You never let me do what I want to do. You never let me just do me.
All right, first off, I want to stop this because I should probably put this into context for everybody. I've seen the first Space Jam one time when I was a kid. I didn't care for it that much. I remember it wasn't one that I returned to. Like I said, not a huge sports fan. I knew who Michael Jordan was. But yeah, when everybody was freaking out about this movie, I wasn't a huge fan. I know you got the mixture of like animation and live action, but to me, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit did that the best. And that was my favorite movie with that style. So I didn't love this movie growing up. So I want everybody to take that into consideration when I'm watching this trailer. I'm not going to be able to be like, oh, well, I remember that, because I honestly remember nothing about the original Space Jam. So going into this cold. All right, let's restart it.
Hold up, wrong floor. Bet Will Smith ain't got to deal with this. Down! What in the Matrix hell?
Welcome to the space.
Game of Thrones. I get that reference.
Welcome, King James. I am the king of this domain. This is the serververse.
What'd you do to my son? Where's Dom?
The only way you're getting your son back is if you and I play a little basketball. Pete, send this clown to the rejects.
Wait. What is this? Ah! I'm a cartoon?
Meh. What's up, Doc?
Come on and ride, baby, ride! I need to assemble an elite team to help get my son back.
I know what you're looking for.
So shoot, baby, shoot!
That's
Ryan
real deal.
Coogler?
Slam! Shoot the ball! Let's try that again, shall we?
King James.
Welcome to
The Space Jam.
Introducing the Goon Squad.
You gotta win this game
Let's end this.
Got you, Kron.
and get our son back.
Yikes. Classic.
Welcome to the Space Jam.
I'm going old school on his butt.
Whoa.
Welcome to the Space Jam.
Okay. I hear you. So what did everybody think of that? I honestly don't know what to make of it. It looks okay. It looks fun. I don't see why anybody would be either mad at that or super excited for that. It just looks like a fine kids movie. But yeah, sure. I'll probably watch it, and I might try to watch the original Space Jam again, leading up to Space Jam 2. But it looked fine. It looked okay. I didn't think it looked like it was trash. I didn't think it would look like it was great. It just looked like a movie. But like I said, when it comes to these like animated live action movies, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit just kind of set the bar for me. And a lot of these other movies that tried to kind of do that same thing just didn't really work for me. But I don't know. It could be cool. Who knows? But what do you guys think of it? I'm gonna try to get back into the chat and see what you guys thought. Martinez Joe, future filmmakers in here. What is up, man? How are you doing tonight? Martinez Joe says, hi, Ken. Let's see. I think Cryptic Monster said that Tremors 4K is really cool looking. It is, man. If you haven't yet checked out my review of Tremors on 4K, definitely check it out. That was one of my favorite releases and 4K releases of the past, like, I don't know, a year or something. That thing was awesome. Basement Blues is here. What is up, man? He says, good evening. How are you doing tonight, man? Let's see. Take one of these earphones out. All right. Tony Movie Chappie says, been very interested to see your thoughts on Space Jam 2. Well, you just heard it, Tony. It's okay. It looks fine. I mean, that gag at the end with the old grandma, I mean, it looked mildly humorous. You know, the animation looks good. I mean, it looks good. Like aesthetically, it looks good. I mean, LeBron James, the thing about LeBron James is, like I said, I'm not a big basketball guy. I'm not really familiar with his career. He was pretty hilarious in the movie Trainwreck, and I'm not a big fan of that movie in general, but I enjoyed him in that movie. So if he can bring that same level of comedy to this movie, and just like charm and charisma, I think it could be good. I think he could be good in the role, and maybe quite possibly better than Michael Jordan, because I don't think Michael Jordan was really known for his acting prowess, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's the performance of the decade of the 90s if when I go back and rewatch it, but I don't remember him being great in the film. Bill Tyrell's here. What is up, Bill? How are you doing tonight? I hope you're ready for disappointment, sir. I'm still going to watch. Yeah, it's like I said, I don't really care either way. I'll probably watch it like I watched Tom and Jerry. Just it's something to watch on HBO Max. It doesn't cost me anything extra. I can watch it with my kids. Sure, why not? Tony Movie Chappie says, are you a fan of the first Space Jam? No, I am not. Jared Runner said Space Jam 2 was meh. Or Space Jam 2 trailer was meh. Yeah, that's kind of in the same boat that I'm in, honestly. Cryptic Monster says Space Jam 2 looks good in my opinion. Yeah, you know what? It's like if you say it's trash, I can understand it. If you say it looks good, I can understand it. To me, I'm just kind of in the middle on it. Let's see. Tony Movie Chap said, excited for this, but at the same time, I'm super worried because the first Space Jam is such a huge part of my childhood, but hopefully this won't end up be a complete disaster like Back in Action. Yeah, and like I said, for some people, this is a big part of their childhood. They're very nostalgic over it. They're very precious of it. I understand that feeling. I go through the same thing when it comes to my favorite franchises and properties. So I get all those feelings. But I mean, it's also important to just take a movie for what it is. And I mean, if it's just a harmless kids movie, then who cares? I mean, I don't really think that the first Space Jam was really delivering high art, in the cinematic form, but that's just my opinion. 4K Corner wasn't much of a fan of the first, and the dialogue and line delivery on this one is weak. Yeah, it felt like I said, it felt very mad, just the whole thing. Let's see. Let's Talk Nerd says that ain't Michael Jordan. No, it is not, sir. It is not. 4K Corner says remove the comments. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. It's funny you watching this while I'm watching the Last Dance documentary because they talk about MJ filming Space Jam and also getting prepared for the 72-10 season. Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. If he did all that at once, I mean, that's amazing. Having to all the work that goes into making a movie and plus having to balance your basketball career as well. Alex Thomas says, I might review the first Space Jam on my channel. Yeah, I mean, I mean, you did a review for Godzilla versus Kong. I think I saw, right? I don't think I've got a chance to watch it yet, but I think I saw on your channel you did that. So yeah, I mean, start breaking into movie reviews. I mean, they're super daunting sometimes, but it's cool sometimes to just get on there and just give your unfiltered thoughts about something. Let's Talk Nerd says, yeah, I don't know about this one, folks. I don't know either, man. That's all, folks. The Blu-ray King says, hey, what is up, Blu-ray King? How are you doing tonight? Let's see. Tiana loves movies. Why did Space Jam become a video game? LMA. I think it probably had a video game in the 90s, right? I'm sure it was like on Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo or something. Martinez Joe says, wasn't a fan of the first Space Jam, so not looking forward to part 2. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't either. That's just going to be something to watch, and maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. You know, that's always cool too when that happens, when you're not expecting very much out of something and you watch it and you're like, hey, that was actually pretty good. I like that. And it always just makes your enjoyment of it that much more than it would have been, say, if you just had such high expectations of it because you loved the first one and because you were anticipating all of these great things and callbacks and Easter eggs and all this stuff that was going to happen in the movie. And then it doesn't happen the way you want it to. And then you're just super disappointed. So I would rather just go into it not really expecting much at all. And maybe it's a cool, fun kids movie. Who knows? Tony Movie Chappie says, Cool World was one live action animation that I really enjoy. And I kind of like it better than Roger Rabbit. Tony, that is a hot take, man. That's it. Cool World is okay. You know, Brad Pitt was just getting started in his career. It's fine. I haven't seen it in a while, to be honest. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is my number 11 favorite film of all time. It's right outside of my top 10. I love that movie with everything in me. Like, that's my childhood. And also, it's a Robert Zemeckis film. Underrated Robert Zemeckis film. Guy did Back to the Future. He's just an underrated director in general. Forrest Gump, Castaway, so many great movies. Death Becomes Her. But yeah, Cool World. I'm glad you like it, but I can't accept that it's better than Roger. I'm joking, man. You can like it better. That's all your opinion. Basement Blue says Space Jam 2 looks like a fun one-time watch. I saw the original once when my boys were kids and haven't seen it since. Yeah, pretty much the same here, man. Tony Movie Chappie says, totally fine, Ken. Look, we can agree or disagree. That point of having an opinion, just because if someone doesn't like a movie or a trailer, doesn't mean you should automatically hate on them. I agree, man. I couldn't agree more. Dakota Buckner is in the house. Ken, are you ready for Spiral? I am looking forward to Space Jam 2. I'm looking forward to Spiral 2. Again, Spiral, I'm not a huge like Saw guy either. I like the first Saw. After that, they just kind of decreased in quality with every single installment. But I am intrigued about what Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson are going to bring to the franchise with their take on it. So I don't know. Hopefully it could be good. But welcome to the chat, buddy. Bill Tyrell says Space Jam was actually a video game. PlayStation 1 and Sega Dreamcast. Really? It would have been PS1? I would have thought that would have been, well, I guess that would have been around the same time. What was Space Jam around 1996? PS1 was just getting started in like 1996 or so. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. For some reason, I was thinking it was like more Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era, but I could be wrong. All right, so let's go ahead, guys, and get into the Black Widow trailer next. I'm actually kind of excited to watch this because I haven't seen a Black Widow trailer since I feel like it's been about a year since we've had like a real new one. All right, so let's see. And again, let me know if there's issues with the dialogue.
You don't know everything about me. I've lived a lot of lives.
You have lived a lot of lives.
Before I was an Avenger. Before I got this family. I made mistakes. Choosing between what the world wants you to be. And who you are.
Really playing into her death.
We have to go back to where it all started.
Where did you think I was all this time?
We have unfinished business.
My girls are the toughest girls in the world.
I'm sorry. We had our orders and we played our roles.
It wasn't real.
It was real to me. To me, you were everything.
Bring her home.
Put your seatbelts on. She's such a mom.
One thing's for sure. I'm done running from my past.
Okay. Well, that was I'm actually excited for that one. And the funny thing is that I wasn't let's see. Can the comments on the screen? Sorry, 4K. I'm just I'm a noob at this, man. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'll remember to do that. One of these days I'm gonna get this right. I promise you. But yeah, it's I don't know. I was really looking forward, or I wasn't looking forward to this movie all that much when it was first announced, because I just thought it was a little bit too little, too late to put bring us a Black Widow movie at this point. And again, I'm not the biggest Scarlett Johansson fan. I'm gonna take these earphones off because they're bugging me, but I'm not the biggest Scarlett Johansson fan. I mean, she's been in a lot of great stuff, of course. I think she's good as the Black Widow character, but I don't know how interested or invested I was in seeing a Black Widow origin story. But I think that the way that they're building this up and they're framing this, it's not really an origin story. It's taking place like between Civil War and Infinity War or something like that, or Infinity War and Endgame. It's one of those. But yeah, I think it looks great. I think it has like shades of Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit mixed with some of the Winter Soldier. It looks like it's going to have some really great action in it. And yeah, I'm not the biggest Florence Pugh fan as well. I don't think she's a very good actress. But Rachel Weisz was noticeably absent in this trailer. So I don't know if that means anything, if they're trying to hint at the fact that she could possibly be the villain Taskmaster. I don't know. But again, like Rachel Weisz was the real selling point. And David Harbour, I think he's going to be really good in the movie too. So yeah, I think it has a real like Guardians of the Galaxy type feel mixed with the Winter Soldier, and they bring and pull off that kind of style. Like, I don't know, I think this could be a really great Marvel movie. And ever since that first trailer, I've been looking forward to this. And then I think a month later, it got delayed all to hell. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm sure it's going to be great. It's coming out on July the 9th. What I want to know from you guys is, first off, are you excited for this to come out, and are you going to pay the $30 premium price on Disney Plus to get it? Because this is the one that's going to get me to pay the $30 because it is a Marvel movie. I want to see it. Again, if I'm able to make it to a theater to see it, I will. But if I'm taking the whole family to see it, it's going to cost me more to go to a theater for one. And then you got the convenience factor. So it has to be a situation where I've just got free time and I'm able to go. Like the other night, me and my wife were on a date. We were out. She says, "You want to go see a movie?" Nobody is only showing in theaters, which is why I picked that movie to see in theaters, because I knew I was going to be able to watch Godzilla versus Kong at home, which I did, even though I know that that's not the most adequate viewing experience for that movie. I wanted to see nobody. I wanted to see both movies, so I picked Nobody to see in theaters because that was the only way that I could see that movie, and I knew I'd be able to see Godzilla versus Kong at home. So if I can, I'm going to try to make it to the theater. But if I can't, me coming home on a Friday night from work, more than likely, I'm just going to pay the $30 and I'm going to watch it right then and there because it'll be a new movie and I'll want to see it. So, or right then, and I won't feel like driving out to the theater on a work night to go check it out. So, yeah, definitely going to pay the $30 to check that out. But yeah, if you guys are going to pay it, are you excited for this movie? Let me know. I mean, it'll be the first Marvel movie, but we'll have WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier by then. So I don't know. It just looks like really action packed and just has so much like elements from the Winter Soldier. And that's my favorite Marvel movie. So I think it's going to be really badass, and I'll get past my, not really disdain, but just, I don't know. I'm not really into the Black Widow character that much, but I think they could do some really cool things with the story to make me get more invested in her character. Kind of like they did with WandaVision. I wasn't a huge Wanda fan when I first watched that show, and coming out of it now, I'm a huge Elizabeth Olsen and Wanda as a character. So hopefully they do the same thing for Black Widow in this movie. And let's see what you guys are saying. 4K Corner says Taskmaster looks awesome. Yeah, he does. He looks like a great villain. I love the gimmick too, that he just kind of takes everybody else's powers and does like their moves and stuff. I think that's pretty awesome. Alex Thomas says, I'm getting Jason Bourne vibes with Black Widow. Exactly. It's got that spy espionage action. It just looks really cool. Let's see. I already said that. Ben Grimm, I hope they do Taskmaster right. Yeah, hopefully they do Taskmaster right. He looks incredible. Alex Thomas says, I will be going to the theater to see Black Widow. Awesome, man. Definitely. Talking Cobra Kai is here. What is up? What's up, Talking Cobra Kai? Go check him out on his channel. He talks a bunch of Cobra Kai on there. Tony Movie Chappie says, I haven't seen the trailer. I only saw the first 2 trailer, and that good enough for me. I feel like sometimes trailer give away too much these days. Yeah, like, I mean, that's the thing with this movie is it's been coming out for like 2 years. So I feel like that's like the 4th trailer that we've seen from it. So yeah, I agree with you. And, you know, Marvel sometimes falls into that pit where they show way too much. But when it comes to like Infinity War and Endgame, I don't think they did that, but they definitely do that with some of their movies. Trailers in general just do it. That's why I don't love watching trailers all the time. Sometimes I just don't watch them. You know, I've tried the trailer reaction thing on this channel, doing the standalone videos and stuff. I honestly don't love it. And because first off, when I'm doing the trailer reaction, I'm just trying to watch the trailer and just understand what's going on. I don't want to feel like I'm having to like react or do something. It's cool when I'm doing it right here because I'm just doing it in front of you guys and doing it with you guys. And it just feels a little bit more natural to what I'm doing on this show. But when I'm saying, all right, I'm going to react to the Black Widow trailer. Here we go. Got my thumbnail, got everything ready. Let's talk about this. Let's do some funny faces. It just doesn't feel natural. And I didn't like doing it. I did it for the Mortal Kombat movie just because I wanted to try it. And I don't know how many more, at least standalone trailer reactions I'm actually going to do. I'd rather just kind of save them for the show. But again, I don't mind doing it if it's like a big franchise thing. But if it's something I'm not really aware of and I don't know a lot about, I'd rather just keep it that way and just go into the movie cold, not knowing too much about it. Tony Movie Chappie says, wow, not a fan of Florence Pugh. Repeat, Ken. I'm not, man. I'm not. Look, and fighting with my family, I think she was good. I thought she was good in that movie. Midsummer irritates the piss out of me. That the whole movie does, and her performance is just, I'm not saying it's god awful. She's good, but she's just so annoying. Just her facial expressions, things that she does. Little Women, I thought she was the worst part of that movie, the most annoying part of that movie. Just I can't deal with that like almost cry pucker face that she does. But yeah, again, if you like her, you like her. That's just my opinion. And I'm not saying she's a bad actress. I think she has a lot of room to grow. I don't get the hype, to be honest. 4K Corner says should have been released streaming, but I'm not paying $30. Hopefully theaters are open here. Yeah, I hope so, man. Hope so. Let's see. Martinez Joe says, I'm excited for Black Widow, but I will wait for a physical Emad, get it day one on 4K. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt with Raya and The Last Dragon, because I almost paid the $30 to go ahead and buy that on Disney Plus. And then I heard like a week or so later, pretty much right after it debuted on Disney Plus, that it was going to be available in 4K in March. So I was like, well, why am I going to pay $30 when I can just wait until March and then buy the 4K and just own it on physical media and watch it anytime I want? So I totally get that mentality if you're not really into watching it day one. Dakota Buckner says, I am going to the theaters to see this, and hopefully I can find a 3D showing of it. Yeah, they still do those 3D showings. I'm not sure if they still do 3D showings. I feel like they do them like every now and then, but I just didn't know that was a huge thing anymore. Vinny Conrad says it's hard to judge a good movie by watching the trailer. It is sometimes you can tell and sometimes you can be right, but a lot of times you're right. I mean, it could be hit or miss. I mean, you never know. I've seen bad trailers that turn out to be good movies. I've seen good trailers turn out to be bad movies. You know, you've seen both. Tony Movie Chappie says, I'm really excited for this. Surely it will, it's going to be a lot better than Captain Marvel. Give differently. We'll be checking this one out in theaters here in Orlando where I live. Awesome, man. I'm glad your theaters are open, by the way. Let's see. Side House of Cinema said, did you like Nobody more than John Wick? They feel similar movies. I kind of like Nobody better by a little bit. No, I think that John Wick is better, or three better movies. I think that all three of the John Wick movies are better movies than Nobody. That, just in my opinion. That's not taking anything away with Nobody. I can talk about that one for a little bit, just kind of give a mini review. I thought Nobody was awesome for what it was, and it felt. The thing is that the trailer made it feel like it was going to be like a John Wick ripoff, but when you're watching that movie, you don't feel like it's ripping off John Wick. You feel like it's something completely unique and different. And Bob Odenkirk just brings a completely different charisma and sensibility to that role than Keanu. Like, those are just two different performers and two different characters, and it felt totally different watching that movie compared to John Wick, even though you could compare like certain action set piece sequences in it. But yeah, just two completely different feeling movies, even though it's like within the same genre. But I really love Nobody. I love the character of Bob Odenkirk. My only issue with that movie is it's a very short movie. It's only about 90 minutes, and I don't think you get enough time in the beginning to have that build up for Bob Odenkirk for his eventual, what happens in the movie. I just don't think there was enough build up for him to kind of return to that lifestyle that he was in before. I thought it felt a little bit rushed, and it didn't really feel earned when he just kind of jumped back into that world. But beyond that, from the moment he gets back into the world, it's freaking awesome. And I didn't know that Christopher Lloyd was in this movie, Doc Brown from Back to the Future, like I think until right before I went to see it. And I certainly didn't know he was going to play the kind of part that he does in the movie. Again, not going to try to spoil it, but I was like cheering in the theater when this moment happens at the end. So I don't know. I just thought it was a freaking great movie. It's I'd probably honestly give it a 9 out of 10. If I was grading it on the 10 scale, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was freaking awesome. Now, John Wick, I think that the first John Wick's like a 9.25. I think that 2's like a 9.25, and I think 3's like a 9.5. So I rate all those movies higher than I would rate Nobody, but I still think Nobody is a really great action film. So yeah, there's my mini review on Nobody. And yeah, Bob Odenkirk, man, he's just such a great actor. I love him in everything that I've ever seen him in. Of course, Saul Goodman. And Better Call Saul and everything. He's great as that character, but he proved in this film that he really has some range, and he can really kind of play that action badass. I hope he gets more roles. I hope it kind of turns into more of like a Liam Neeson type turn where he starts getting more of these roles, and hopefully they're better movies than some of the Liam Neeson ones. But yeah, I think he deserves like a big budget career run. He's that good, and I hope he gets it. Vinny Conrad says, trailer for Wonder Woman 1984 was promising, but movie was trash. I actually agree with you, Vinny, very much so there. Tony Movie Chavez says, oh, damn it, I meant to say respect, Ken, my bad. It's all right, man. It's all right. Typos, phone corrects yourself when you don't mean it to all the time. Phil's Creepy Videos is here, and he says, hey there, horror fans. What's he going to say next? It's your buddy Phil here. Good to have you here tonight, Phil. If you guys are not yet subscribed to Creepy Phil over at Phil's Creepy Videos, definitely go give him a sub. Does some great horror content, some great horror live streams. Rob Forzy says, I'm intrigued about Spiral. New Saw film. I can't wait to see Chris Rock in a different role. He's one of my favorite comics ever. Yeah, I felt I don't know. He didn't feel right for the particular role he was playing, like from what I saw in the trailer. I'm hoping he kind of turns it around in the movie, but I don't know. Something about the way he was performing in that trailer just felt a little off to me. 4K Corner says, hey, Creepy Videos. Phil's Creepy Video says, I loved G versus K, my favorite of the four for sure. Yep, we're going to talk about that here in a second, Phil. He says, what's up, 4K? You got Godzilla. Phil's Creepy Videos. Tiana, I am also in Canada. The bus fight and Nobody is amazing. Yeah, I love that bus fight. I thought it was a great sequence. Let's see. Are you going to have your Psycho Gorman review this week? I'm probably not going to do a standalone review of Psycho Gorman because I've already reviewed that movie on the channel. I reviewed it on VOD back in January, I think. So you can go check out my thoughts on that film. But I did an unboxing for it on my March Blu-ray haul. So I've got the unboxing for it already done. I've already reviewed the movie. So really the only thing I would be reviewing would be the special features. So I might somewhere down the line talk about the Blu-ray release if there's anything just spectacular to talk about it. But I really just wanted to own it in my collection. So I don't see myself watching it anytime soon. Let's see. Phil's Creepy Video says, don't forget to smash that like button. Definitely. Don't forget to smash that like button. I definitely forgot to tell you all to smash that like button. But yeah, appreciate it if you guys would smash that like button. Tony Chappie, D9, Neil Blomkat, #1 fan, says, interesting enough, Bob Odenkirk was also in Monkey Bone, but it was before Breaking Bad. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen Monkey Bone, to be honest. I might need to go check that out, Tony. I see you bring that movie up quite a bit, and I know it has Brendan Fraser in it. I love Brendan Fraser, so I might have to check that out at some point. So let's go ahead and get into, guys. We're going to talk about some Godzilla versus Kong. So in the way that I want to talk about this, let's see. Let's bring up my fancy Godzilla versus Kong review. But the way I want to talk about this is more so like I'm going to give my thoughts and stuff on it, but I also just want to know what you guys thought of it. This movie came out last Wednesday on HBO Max and in theaters. Did you go see it in the theaters? Did you watch it at home? How did you watch this movie? What were your thoughts on this movie? Because I've seen some different opinions here and there, ranging from it was great, the best thing I've ever seen, the best of the universe, to it was fine. I thought it was like middle of the road. The fights were cool. The characters suck. Pretty much par for the course for this franchise at this point. And I've heard people that just flat out say it sucked. It just wasn't very good, and they did not enjoy it. So where did you fall there? What did you think of it? What were your favorite parts? We'll kind of go into some spoiler territory here because I feel like it's been 5 days since this movie came out. Most people have probably seen it. You have access to it, the theater, HBO Max. If you wanted to see it, you probably would have seen it by now. But if you're just gung-ho about me not spoiling things, you might want to leave for about 10 to 15 minutes and then come back. But let's see. But yeah, Godzilla versus Kong, guys. Awesome poster, by the way. So we can talk about it for a second. So I pretty much just want to talk about just my thoughts on the universe as a whole, kind of building to this. Because Godzilla came out in 2014. I remember being super excited for that movie because it was a Godzilla movie, and we hadn't, as much as I love the 1998 Godzilla movie with Matthew Broderick, I know that that's not a great Godzilla movie. And I know that people like big time Godzilla fans were just clamoring for something more, something a little bit more classic. So when that first trailer for Godzilla debuted and they showed the sky jumpers coming down and shining that light, and you saw the tail of Godzilla and just how big and monstrous he was going to be. And then you see Bryan Cranston in the film, which in 2014, this is coming off of Breaking Bad. Like Breaking Bad had just ended its run on AMC, right? AMC is what it was on. I get all like the old networks confused because back then it was like AMC and FX, and now it's Hulu and Netflix and all of that. So the trailer was awesome, looked awesome. I remember watching it like 10 times. It was just freaking incredible. You know, Bryan Cranston also had Elizabeth Olsen in it, and I forget the other kid's name, but it's basically her brother in Marvel. Kick-Ass, just for Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think is his name. They were both in it. But you didn't really know them at the time because they hadn't really been established as big time actors yet. So, and then I saw the movie and it was very slow. And I don't even, and then Bryan Cranston, of course, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Godzilla, gets killed off in like the first 30 to 40 minutes, something like that. And I just remember it being very slow, and it took so long to get to any sort of action that I honestly don't even remember if I finished the movie or not. But yeah, I think I did, but I just remember not liking it very much. And then I rewatched it right before King of the Monsters came out, and I saw something different in that movie on the rewatch. That because forever I was led to believe that there's no monster action in this. You know, there's just all stupid human characters. You barely see Godzilla. And when I rewatched it, like there's so many fights in that movie. Like there's so many big time monster fights in that movie. You know, just with Godzilla. And I don't know all the different characters' names. I'm not like a huge Godzilla fan. But there's just a lot of monster fights in the movie. That train sequence when they're on the train and they're like fighting in the city in daylight. That's a big fight in there. And then there's the big fight at the end where Godzilla just grabs him by the head and just spits fire down his neck. There's some incredible sequences in that movie. And I just love the way that Gareth Edwards, I think that's the right director's name, his use of scale in that movie and just how he presents Godzilla as just this towering figure above everybody else. So at the end of the day, like I put out my ranking on Friday. That's my favorite in this universe now. It was my favorite before Godzilla versus Kong, and as much as I like Godzilla versus Kong, it's still my favorite just for the impressive things that they do with scale in that movie. And I just think that the fighting was just super awesome and super impressive in that movie. And I do think that Bryan Cranston is very good in the movie as well. He's just not in it for long enough. And then Kong Skull Island came out. That was really fun. I remember seeing that in theater with my son. That's when he became a huge fan. And we were talking about, because I think Godzilla vs. Kong was announced all the way back in 2017. And we were talking about it. So we were talking about how Godzilla vs. Kong were to come out. So we were hyped and excited from this movie since we saw Kong Skull Island. So I really enjoyed that one. Brie Larson, Thomas Hiddleston, I'm saying that name right. You got John C. Reilly in that movie, Samuel L. Jackson. Like the movie had a great cast. I didn't think any of them were very interesting at all as characters. I thought most of the moments with them just traveling around were kind of weak. But it did have some really like fun monster sequences and stuff with Godzilla and or King Kong. And at the end of the day, like I'm a King Kong fan. Like I love King Kong. I love that story. This was not the traditional King Kong story. They went to his island. They stayed at his island. Everything wrapped up on Skull Island. So I enjoyed that movie a lot for what it was. Like I said in my ranking, Godzilla versus Kong Skull Island, they're all pretty similar. That was actually a very hard ranking to do. But then Godzilla King of the Monsters came out, and I just thought that was a steaming pile of shit. I thought that the fight sequences, they were cool, but they were way too few and far between. and you couldn't really see them all that well, if I remember correctly. There was just such like a haziness to the aesthetic of the film, and I felt like everything was just shot real close up or just like super far away, and it just you couldn't really gauge like the scope of the movie as you were watching it. And then they just kept breaking up the fights with all these stupid sequences with Vera Farmiga, and Tywin Lannister, Charles Dance, Millie Bobby Brown, who was also in Godzilla versus Kong. And I just thought that the human aspect was just so overbearing and awful in that movie that it just took away from every single monster fighting sequence that I was even thinking about being excited for. So was not a fan of King of the Monsters at all. I'm still not a fan. So the problem with Godzilla versus Kong is that going in, it carries a lot of baggage from Godzilla King of the Monsters. A lot of the human characters that we're dealing with in this movie, Millie Bobby Brown, Kyle Chandler, I'm pretty sure he was in King of the Monsters as well. They are in this movie as well. So it's carrying some of that King of the Monsters baggage in this movie. So I didn't love those aspects. I still didn't like those characters. I didn't like the journey that Millie Bobby Brown takes with the kid from Deadpool 2 and the other guy. I can't remember his name as well. But I didn't think that journey was particularly enjoyable or funny or humorous or cool or anything like that. And just the stuff with Alexander Skarsgård and Rebecca Hall was okay, but honestly, like I didn't care for that stuff either. And then the girl from the thing that I know her of off the top of my head is she was just in that movie I Care a Lot with Rosamund Pike. Her character was stupid. I mean, I'm glad that she got what was coming to her, but her character was stupid. Her motivations were stupid. I didn't get anything what anybody was doing in this movie, what they were trying to do. Like I got the general story, but I just thought that it was all stupid and just nonsense and just all excuse to get these two monsters together and fight, which they do. And when they do, it's completely glorious and awesome. And that first fight sequence that was in the trailer that I just completely lost my shit over, where Godzilla's just like crawling out of the water and then King Kong comes up and just straight punches him in the face. That whole sequence with them fighting is completely awesome. And what I will give this movie credit for is it does not shy away from these fights. It says it is Godzilla versus Kong, and it gives you Godzilla versus Kong not once, but twice. And if you count the end, you get 3 separate big-time monster battles in this movie, and they are just completely awesome fights. And even though, again, I don't want to go too much into spoiler territory, but even though my boy King Kong does not come out on top on either one of these fights, I did appreciate the fact that they had definitive finishes. They were not non-finishes, as you would say in wrestling. They had definitive moments where the fight ended, and there was a clear winner to both of their fights. And then the after fight with Doomsday, I guess we'll call him the Doomsday in this film, as with Batman and Superman had to fight. But of course, again, I'm not trying to really spoil what happens at the end, so I'll leave that a mystery. But basically, they have to team up and fight something at the end, and they take it down together, and it's freaking awesome. So I think that Adam Wingard, as a director, if you don't know who Adam Wingard is, he directed Your Next, he directed The Guest, he directed the Blair Witch remake, which I still think is super underrated. I don't think enough people talk about that movie. I thought it was a very good, well-done sequel and continuation of the lore of the Blair Witch universe. He also did Death Note on Netflix that I know a lot of people shit on, but again, I'm not a big anime person, so I didn't really care about his take on that, and I didn't even watch the movie. So he also does this sequence in VHS. He's just done tons of great stuff that I love. I think that the Your Next and The Guest are like 2 of the best horror thrillers of like the past 10 years. So I'm just happy that he's getting his chance to shine in this big budget arena and atmosphere. And I hope that it leads to other things. And that's the other thing that I've just appreciated about this universe and just how they built it, because they've taken a lot of these like smaller genre directors and put them in these big budget arenas and given them that spotlight. to kind of shine. And some of them have done it, and some of them have kind of sank. Michael Dowry, I'm looking at you. Of course, the guy who did Trick or Treat. He did Krampus, King of the Monsters, which I didn't think was as good. But then you had Gareth Edwards, who did a movie called Monsters, I think it was. And then he did Godzilla, and then he did Rogue One. So yeah, but those are Jordan Vogt Roberts didn't do a genre film, but he did a movie called Kings of Summer. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that movie. It was a really cool kind of like coming of age story with like 3 kids during the summer. I think it was set during the 80s. That's actually a really good movie that it was on Netflix at one point. I recommend checking out. But yeah, I love what they've kind of done with building this universe. But let's go ahead and go back and see what you guys thought of this film, because again, at the end of the day, my opinion doesn't matter. I want to know what you guys thought about it. Let's see. 4K Corner says Pacific Rim Godzilla crossover would be cool. Gypsy Danger versus Godzilla. Yeah, again, Pacific Rim was another one that I liked that movie. But again, it was like raining and it was dark and it's like you couldn't tell what was going on. At least in this movie, Godzilla vs. Kong, like you knew what was going on in this movie. Like you could tell. I just love the way that it was directed, the way that it was shot. Like it just, you felt everything between these two. Like you knew where they were, you knew where they were going, you felt every hit. You knew what was going on. It was just so well choreographed and laid out there. And I appreciated that about the movie because, again, I'll talk about Transformers. You don't get that in a Transformer. You just get metal flying everywhere, and you can barely see or gauge like who's who or who's fighting or who's coming out on top, who's winning the match. You just don't know in those movies. In this movie, I knew who was on top. I knew who was getting their ass kicked at what moment, at each moment at specific time in that fight. So, Yep. Tina Loves Movie says, watch Godzilla vs. Kong at home because they shut down the theaters again. I did enjoy the movie, but I definitely had some mixed feelings too. Awesome. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't a perfect movie. None of these movies are perfect. Now, Godzilla's not perfect. King of the Monsters certainly isn't perfect. Godzilla vs. Kong isn't a perfect movie. Skull Island is not a perfect movie. Like, I think that with these movies, it's like you really just watch them for the monster action, because I don't like any of the human characters in these movies whatsoever. But I get that you have to have them. But again, there's been monster movies in the past where they've created interesting and compelling human characters and still had awesome monster fights. Jurassic Park, for example. And I don't know. It's possible and it can be done. I don't know why they feel the need to not focus their attention and energy on creating like actually interesting and compelling characters within these monster movies. Dakota Buckner said the ending was amazing. I agree, man. I thought the entire like last 30-minute sequence was freaking incredible. And I just loved, again, as much as I hated seeing Godzilla or King Kong on his back, I just loved when Godzilla just puts his freaking foot on his chest and just like, stay down, bitch, it's over. Like, he doesn't want to kill him. Like, that's the interesting thing about it. Like, Godzilla didn't want to kill him. He wanted to keep him alive. He wanted to help him. He wanted to end the fight. He wanted to show him that he was dominant over him. And I just thought that was a really cool moment. Alex Thomas said, ranking Monsterverse. Let's see what you got, man. Number 1, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Number 2, Godzilla vs. Kong. Number 3, Godzilla. And number 4, Kong Skull Island. That is an interesting list, especially since I said I am not a huge fan of King of the Monsters. But I appreciate your opinion and your list, sir. Tony Movie Chappie says, I saw Godzilla vs. Kong at the theater and had a great experience and great time watching it. Pretty everything I expected it to be. Not my favorite of the Monsterverse, but still had a great time. Yeah, but what is your favorite of them? Well, you're going to give me your ranking right here. Kong Skull Island is number 1. 2 is Godzilla vs. Kong. 3 is Godzilla King of the Monsters. And 4 is Godzilla 2014. That's a good list. Yeah. I mean, pretty much, man, like Kong Skull Island and Godzilla vs. Kong were like neck and neck for me when I was doing that. I knew I wanted Godzilla 2014 to be my number 1. But Kong Skull Island and Godzilla vs. Kong, there's just so many different things that I like about each one. I think at the end of the day, though, I had to put Godzilla vs. Kong at number 2 because those fights are just incredible. Let's see. 4K Corner said, Tony Movie Chappie, number one fan. I agree with that ranking. He agrees with your ranking, Tony. That is cool. Very interesting opinion, Ken, but I disagree with you on the human characters because some of the characters I thought to be very interesting this time around, and Rebecca Hall was fantastic. Yeah, she was okay. I like Rebecca Hall. I'll say this. I think that her and Alexander Skarsgård were the characters that I'm trying to figure out how to say this, but I didn't feel like turning off the TV every time I saw them coming up. So I tolerated them the best of all the human characters, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Reaction Life 21. The Mobile was disappointing. What is The Mobile? Is that a new movie? Tony Movie Chappie, D9, Neil Blomkamp, number one fan, says, and Millie Bobby Brown really got the chance to shine in this. I really enjoyed her character arc. And this is just my opinion. Yeah, Tony, I'm going to have to, if you're saying she had a character arc in this movie, I might have to rewatch it because I do not remember anything. To be honest, like I feel like my eyes just glazed over every time I had to watch those characters together. I just wanted them to get back to like the Kong stuff and the Godzilla stuff. So maybe I'll have to go back and watch it and see if I can notice any kind of arc. Reaction Live 21 said, this movie is disappointing. I wouldn't say it's disappointing. I'd say, and that's the thing again, guys, like I said, I wasn't like huge. I mean, I really like Godzilla 2014. I'm not saying that's a masterpiece movie either. So my expectations going into this one was I just want to see some cool monsters fighting, and I got that. So at the end of the day, I was happy, even though there was still some of those problems that I didn't like from King of the Monsters in the movie. I still liked the movie. So yeah, let's see. Adam Wingard has signed on to direct the new Thundercats movie. I can't wait. Yeah, what's up? I don't know the Thundercats at all. I don't know if he would be a good fit for that, if that makes sense. Sure. Like I said, I'm glad he's getting big budget stuff. I still like, because I saw that news came out that The Guest was going to get, which if you guys haven't seen The Guest from 2014, please watch that movie like immediately. It's like one of the best thriller, science fiction, horror, action films of like the 21st century. It's like Terminator, a modern day Terminator is how I would describe it. It's so freaking good. You have got to watch that movie, directed by Adam Wingard. And I saw that they said something about making a limited series of that. I don't know how true that is, but I hope it is. And I hope that I would be down for even a sequel of the original The Guest. I just want another one of those. And I also want another year next. I wanted to figure out the continuation of that storyline as well. So, and I would love to see him do another Blair Witch. I loved where that was going too. Ben Grimm says, I didn't like that Kong had help a bunch. Yeah, it kind of felt like that. I'm not gonna lie. That was a little disappointing. Just let Kong be a badass. Yeah, it was hard to watch. Again, they were cool fights, but it was hard watching Kong get put on his back twice. It was very hard to watch that. I did not like it at all. But I admit that he definitely lost that fight. He lost. Kong lost. PR Puerto Rico said what YP? Or said what's he's corrected. What up, PR? How you doing? I got today on Blu-ray Steelbook the Django for only $10 at Target. That's a great deal. I've actually thought about picking up that Steelbook because I do love the Django, and that is a really nice Steelbook. I also want that 1917 4K Steelbook up there too. Let's see. Dakota Buckner said, my favorite part is when Godzilla laughs after he hurts Kong. Yeah, it's crazy some of the moments that go on between the two of them. Alex Thomas says, Target was closed in my area. I wanted the Back to the Future 4K Steelbook collection. Was it closed today? Because I heard that there was a lot of places that were closing today for Easter, and that does not usually happen. So, yeah, I don't know what was going on there. Reaction Live 21 said, yeah, it's crazy. I'm not a big fan of the movie, but it's cool Steelbook. You're not a big fan of the Django? Oh man, you wouldn't have wanted to been in. I don't know if you were with us in the tournament last week, but the Django won the Leonardo DiCaprio tournament. 4K Media Guy said, "Sup, Ken? Just got home. Glad to make it to your live. Glad you can make it to 4K. I'm glad you could be out here tonight. And feel free to leave your thoughts on Godzilla versus Kong down below." Dakota Buckner said, "Millie Bobby Brown is a good actress, but her part in this movie was horrible." I don't know if I'd say it was horrible. It wasn't great. It definitely wasn't great. I think she's capable of much better. In fact, I know she's capable of much better. She does a great job on Stranger Things. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that she's been in. I have not seen Enola Holmes. I haven't checked that movie out. So I don't know if she was good in that. I heard she was good in that, though, I thought. I didn't watch the trailer. I expected more fight scenes between Godzilla vs. Kong and Mega Godzilla. Is the pointing a reboot Godzilla? Come on. Yep. You gave that spoiler away, man. Mega Godzilla is the guy that came out of the end to fight him. I don't know. I think we got a good amount of fighting in this movie. I think we got two big set piece fights between the two title characters of this movie. It says Godzilla versus Kong, and you get 2 rounds with them in this movie, and they're both spectacular fights. And then you get a 3rd round with them teaming up to fight another monster. So, and then you get the whole sequence of Kong going into the hidden world in the middle of the earth, which is really cool too. I enjoyed that part of the movie as well. So, I don't know, man. I think they delivered a good amount of action. I do. I just wish they would have had more interesting characters to kind of balance things out in the middle. Tony Movie Chappie says, "I don't think I ever heard of The Guest. Definitely will check it out. Thank you for the recommendation, Ken." Definitely check that out, Tony, and let me know what you think of it. I cannot imagine you not at least liking it. I think you'll like it. 4K Media Guy says, "I enjoyed the film. Mostly the fights, the humans I could do without." Exactly. That's most people's takes, to be honest. And it's honestly something I was expecting. So I wasn't too disappointed when the human elements didn't deliver, because I didn't expect it to. All right. So Reaction Life 21 says, "Sorry for spoilers." You're good, man. You're good. Like I said, I told people that it was probably going to be some light spoilers in there, so it's fine. Splitty. I think this is the first time Splitty is joining us here tonight. What is up, Splitty? It's the first time I'm recognizing the name. "I enjoyed it overall. I wish the fight between Kong Godzilla and Mecha Godzilla was longer. Felt like they beat him too easily." Yeah, kind of. I think it went on for like 2 minutes. They were trying to wrap up the movie. I think the drama was in the fact that Godzilla, after he beat up King Kong, was getting his ass whipped by Mecha Godzilla. That was where the drama was. And then they were trying to get King Kong back to life. And then he comes back and then saves the day. So I don't know. I don't know if they should have overextended that too long, but it probably could have been a little bit longer. Dakota Buckner says, "I'm not shocked if they make a Godzilla versus Kong 2. Yeah, hopefully they do. I actually saw something on Instagram. I forget who posted it, where they laid out like an entire monster universe. I'm not sure if that was real or not, or I don't think it was real, but I'm not sure if it was based on any like actual facts or knowledge, or if somebody just kind of made it up. But it had like a Mothra movie on there, a Rodan, Godzilla versus Kong 2, Godzilla 3, Kong Skull Island 2, a bunch of movies. It was like laying it out like Marvel Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. It was pretty cool. I'm gonna have to find that, maybe post it in my stories or something on Instagram. Let's see. 4K Mini Guy says, "Yeah, I agree. Splitty, I thought Godzilla didn't get any payback on Mecha Godzilla." He didn't, but I think it was just a situation where they were trying to get everybody was getting their stuff in, as they say in like wrestling terms. Like Godzilla got his shit in on King Kong and knocked him out. Mecha Godzilla got his shit in on Godzilla and knocked him out. And then King Kong came back and saved the day, got his shit on Mecha Godzilla and knocked his ass out. So everybody got their chance to like whoop ass. So everybody seemed like they were a threat. So I think that they kind of just went in circles there and kind of had everybody get their ass beat and get their payback. So I don't know. Vinny Conrad said, what's a better franchise, Godzilla or Jurassic Park? Oh, man, that is actually a very good question. I'm going to say Jurassic Park. I'm going to say Jurassic Park because one, it has one masterpiece film. It's in my top 15 films of all time. I love the first Jurassic Park. I also think that The Lost World is a pretty good sequel. It's not great, certainly nowhere in the ballpark of the first one, but I think it's a good sequel. And I would put The Lost World up against Godzilla 2014, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla versus Kong. As far as like actual movies, I would put that in the same ballpark as those films. The same with Jurassic World. I would put that in the kind of same ballpark as the Godzilla versus Kong camp. So right there, you've got one masterpiece film. You've got two very good films, I think. Decent monster movie films. Jurassic Park 3 isn't great. That's the king of the monsters of the universe. Or I guess you could say Fallen Kingdom would be the king of the monsters of the universe. But either way, I got to give the slight edge to Jurassic Park just because it has that iconic first movie. But that was actually a really good question that made me think about that for a second. PR says, need to see GVK movie. Yeah, definitely do, man. I don't know if you have HBO Max or if you're able to get to a theater, but I would recommend watching that movie. I mean, and speaking of the theater and stuff, this movie grossed $48 million just domestically, and I think somewhere in the ballpark of like $250 million over the first 5 days worldwide. So this movie's like doing big numbers. Like this is like old school theater numbers. Of course, it's not 360 million like Endgame got, but if you compare this movie, because they were talking about it, and I remember how good King of the Monsters did theatrically when it came out. It was like 48, 49 million as well, or 45 million. I think Godzilla vs. Kong actually grossed more than King of the Monsters did in theaters when it debuted, which only makes it even more impressive because the fact that Godzilla vs. Kong is available for people to watch at home on HBO Max, and it's also in theaters, it's kind of amazing that it made more than King of the Monsters, which the King of the Monsters had some really awesome promotional materials, some really awesome posters and trailers. The movie looked really good, so I don't know what happened and why that movie didn't do so great. But yeah, that does make it a little bit more impressive that Godzilla vs. Kong actually grossed more opening weekend domestically. But again, you could also say that was over 5 days, where I think King of the Monsters was only over 3. So I don't know if it's a fair fight either way, but I did find that kind of interesting. But again, a good thing. It means that movie theaters are kind of coming back, and hopefully this kind of ignited a flame in people to want to go back to the theaters more and to take those chances and to have seen that, you know, maybe it's not so bad going back to the theaters, to see that, you know, the rules are in place, social distancing, it's okay. We're all going to be okay. We can go to the theaters now, and maybe we'll start seeing some box office rise, and we'll start to see things go on the up and up for the theaters. But hopefully, I certainly enjoyed going back to the theaters myself. Even though I didn't see Godzilla vs. Kong, I saw Nobody. It was a really good movie. It was certainly a better experience than when I saw New Mutants last year. So I'm excited to go back to the theater soon for sure. But I don't know if I'll be going as much as I used to, but I'm definitely going to try to get out there once a month. Let's see. Splitty, I think I missed your comment. Yeah, first time, got into physical media really recently. Awesome, man. You've come to the right place, man. It's Physical Media Central right here. Definitely, you know, I don't know if you've already subscribed to my channel, but hit that subscribe button. Also, we got some awesome people in here that do physical media as well. I know 4K Media Guy, he has a channel. 4K Corner has a channel. So if you see them in the chat, hit them up and subscribe because they do some awesome physical media content as well. Nerd Dad for Life says, which direction do you want them to go with the MonsterVerse next? I would like to see another straight Kong movie. I would like to see another Kong movie. I don't know if it'd be a Skull Island movie or what kind of story they would tell, but I would like to see just a straight up Kong movie because I don't think we've gotten enough of Kong in this universe yet. We've gotten plenty of Godzilla. He's got 3 movies and Kong's just got the 1. Well, he's got 2, I guess, but I would still like to see kind of I guess, an aftermath to this movie and just how he's kind of dealing with the fact that he got his ass beat by Godzilla. I don't know. There could be an interesting storyline there. And yeah, more Godzilla movies would be cool too. They bring in Mothra or whatever. It could be cool. Again, I don't know the lore of the Godzilla. I'm not a huge Godzilla guy. PR Puerto Rico says, I was watching the Friday the 13th part 5 today. Love Jason. My favorites. Well, that's interesting that you say that because part 5 doesn't even have Jason in it. It has a guy in a Jason mask. But I like part 5. I think that part 5, people shit on it too much. I actually think it's kind of good, even though it's not Jason killing people. Side Hustle Cinema says Arrow Video is having 60% off sale today only. Really? Is that like in addition to their Easter Carnage sale? Because I've already actually purchased 4 arrows that were on sale last week. So are you telling me right now, Side Hustle, that I'm going to have to get back on the Arrow Video site and order more Arrow videos? It's crazy talk. Tony Movie Chappie says, I'm actually one of the few people that prefer The Lost World over Jurassic Park, but the first one is a classic by any means. You're coming with the hot takes tonight, Tony Movie. I appreciate it, though. It's like I said, I like The Lost World. I think The Lost World's pretty cool. And it's still directed by Spielberg. Still a good movie. 4K Media Guys, I would watch Lost World every day on VHS back in the day. I know I would too. I've got that. It wasn't the, I don't know if you remember 4K Media, but wasn't the VHS a lenticular? Because I had the tape and I'm pretty sure I remember it being a lenticular cover that has like the raptor like moving when you, I don't know. Let me know in the chat. I'm pretty sure I remember it being lenticular. Manny Legault is here. What is up, Manny? Glad you could join us tonight. I loved this movie. I had an absolute blast with it, but I really didn't like the subplot with Millie Bobby Brown. Besides that, yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts as well. I thought that all of that stuff was probably the weakest part of the film. And Manny said, I loved it as well. 4K Media Guy said, do you enjoy Peter Jackson's King Kong? I actually watched that one recently. I watched it when I was on vacation. I enjoyed the movie. I think it's a little long, and I think they take a little bit too long to get to the island. I think they could have got there a little bit quicker. But yeah, I did. I enjoyed my rewatch of that movie quite a bit, actually. I thought it was really good. PR says, I stay at home watching my movie on my big TV, not going out that much. Well, it's certainly your preference, sir. PR says, only to work. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I was about 6 months ago. I went to like work and home and work and home. That's pretty much all I would go. Vinny Conrad said, would Peter Jackson King Kong be part of the monster universe? Maybe they could bring him in. If they're going to bring Peter Jackson's King Kong in, though, they have to bring in Matthew Broderick's Godzilla from 1998 and make that a part of the universe as well. Tony Movie Chappie says, I don't hate Jurassic Park 3 as much as a lot of people. I think the problem was that was a lot of production problems and some weird decisions along the way. Again, that's another one that I'm going to have to check out again because it's honestly been a long time. I just remember being super disappointed when I watched that in theaters. Ben Graham says, I love Lost World, but mostly because it goes to San Diego where I lived at the time. Yeah, it does. And that is an incredible sequence. When I was a kid, all I ever wanted was a dinosaur to invade a city. And Lost World gave that to me. And it was a very exciting moment for me as a 12-year-old when I watched that movie. And yeah, I remember in the theater when I saw that, I was flipping out. It's just like, oh my God, he's in the city. He's in those kids' backyard. He's like in the freaking knocking down pools. And I don't know. It was so cool. But yeah, I love that sequence in the movie. 4K Media Guy says, yes, it had a lenticular slip for The Lost World. I thought so. Manny Legault said, Chaos Walking is streaming. Are you planning on watching it? I might check it out. Is it streaming for $20 or is it streaming for $6? Because I'm certainly not paying $20 for Chaos Walking. But I don't even remember the reviews for that. Were the reviews pretty good? Let's go ahead and get into the finale of the show, guys. I'm going to cover everything that I watched in the month of March, just kind of like my monthly rundown. I do it every month. It's kind of become a tradition on this show a little bit. So let's see. So feel free in the chat while I'm bringing this up or while I'm talking about my month watches. I'm going to try to get through it as quick as I can. Feel free to list everything that you watched in March or just some of the most notable stuff that you remember, whether it's new releases, first time watches, rewatches, random rewatches. I've got everything on my list as well that I'm going to run down for you guys. So let's see about sharing my letterbox screen. Got to stop that screen. All right. Here we go. And I'm going to have to change that up a little bit. All right. So let's go all the way back down to the bottom. So I watched it. And like I said, while I'm going through all of mine, I'm going to try to go through these all at once. If you all could list some of the stuff you watched in the month of March, I'm just always really interested in just all the different type of things that everybody's watching, especially now because we don't get new movies as much as we used to. So a lot of people are going back and just rewatching stuff, which is kind of what I've been doing for the past 13 months. So in the month of March, I had 29 watches, which I was looking kind of grim before I went on vacation because in January I did like 40 watches. Last month I think I had like 36. So I've got 29 right now. So that was a pretty good amount of watches. I did 11 movies that came out recently, and how I define recently is within the last 2021 or 2020 releases. 2 series, which I could log on Letterboxd, 6 rewatches, just random rewatches, and I did 10 first-time watches, so movies from the past that I had never seen before. So the first thing that I watched this month was Waiting, which is a comedy starring Ryan Reynolds and Justin Long from 2005. And I can credit AJ from AJ Reacts for this one because he reviewed the movie and said it was terrible. And I said, wait a second, I remember watching that movie and I loved it when I was, I think I was like 20 when that movie came out. So I said, I got to rewatch this and see if it still holds up like I think it does. And it definitely doesn't hold up as a movie. I can't imagine a movie like that coming out now, as offensive as it is on certain things and subjects and themes. But I still had a lot of chuckles with this one. I still enjoyed it quite a bit. So yeah, Waiting, I gave that a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So I still think it's a funny comedy from 2005, but I'll admit that a lot of that is nostalgia. So on March the 3rd, I did Coming to America from 1988, of course, because the first Coming to America, or the sequel was coming out on Amazon Prime that weekend, I think. So I went ahead and watched that for the first time, and I thought it was great. Great classic comedy with Eddie Murphy. Gave it a 4 stars. Dog Day Afternoon, I watched that because I was doing a Lumet month on my Instagram page where I was trying to watch and review as many Sidney Lumet films as I could. I failed horribly on that task because I only watched 2 of his movies. But Dog Day Afternoon was definitely a stunning film, like bank robbery, heist film with Al Pacino, who gives like probably one of the best performances I've ever seen him give. Absolutely love that movie from 1975. I gave that a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Then I've got WandaVision logged right here. Even though I watched some of WandaVision in January, some of it in February, it ended in March, so I logged it in March. I enjoyed WandaVision as a show. I feel like it was a little bit divisive among people. I enjoyed the show overall. I didn't like every direction that it took, but I thought it was an interesting Marvel piece of Marvel material. So it's a 4 out of 5 stars for me. I enjoyed it. Coming to America, this is actually an interesting score because I don't remember giving this a 3.5 out of 5. I might take this down to a 3. Yeah, a 3 out of 5 for Coming to America. I enjoyed this movie. I didn't think it was as horrible as a lot of people said it was. It certainly wasn't as good as the first one. But I liked Eddie's return to this role. I thought he really kind of channeled the old school mentality of this character and just kind of brought it back to life. And you don't usually see that a lot with these sequels. I mean, Dumb and Dumber 2, I can think of as an example. They didn't feel like those characters. They just felt like the older actors coming in to try to be those characters. Eddie Murphy actually felt like the character from the original film. So I enjoyed his performance in it, and I think that Coming to America was pretty good. Host, I gave a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It feels like such a long time ago I watched that movie. I can't believe it was this month. I really enjoyed that movie a lot. I think it was one of the best horror films of the past few years. Again, I'm a sucker for that found footage, screen life stuff. It scares the shit out of me, and Host was no exception. Really short movie, only like 56 minutes. So I thought that I enjoyed it for that, for not too long of a length. So very easy watch, very scary, very good horror film. 4.5 out of 5. The King of Staten Island, I gave a 4 out of a 5. This was a rewatch for me. I don't know why I just saw it on HBO Max, and I remember enjoying it last year when I watched it in the summer. It made my top 10 movies of 2020, so I rewatched it. It was still really good. I still enjoyed it. I enjoy that Apatow style. I don't think he's as great of a director as he was when he was making films like 40-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up. Those are like top tier comedies for me, but I think The King of Staten Island is really good. I think Pete Davidson's really good in it. Marissa Tomei, Bill Burr. I think everybody's just really good in that movie, and it does have some really solid comedic moments. So I like King of Staten Island. Random Acts of Violence was that RLJE title that I checked out. Gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It's a pretty solid horror thriller type movie. Very gruesome, very gory, very bloody. I enjoyed that movie. Behind Her Eyes was a Netflix original series that my wife and I watched that starts off feeling like a Lifetime original series and then ends up being this weird supernatural sci-fi just crazy thriller of a story that just goes into some insane places, and the ending is so freaking shocking and unexpected and out of nowhere. I honestly just ended up loving the series, even though it doesn't start off the strongest. It really develops into some cool territory towards the end. So I gave that one a 4 out of 5 stars. Let's see. The original King Kong from 1933. I gave that a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I thought that was a great film. I actually liked that a little bit better than Peter Jackson's take, believe it or not. I thought it was really cool, just the stuff they were able to pull off back then. Just with like the monster fights and how they use stop motion and stuff. I thought that it was a really cool movie. I'm always impressed every time I go back to these older decades and just see the stuff that they did back then. And sometimes, honestly, they do it a little bit better than we do nowadays, which is even more impressive. Don't Tell a Soul was a cool little thriller that I watched, bought the physical media copy for. I give that a 3.5 out of 5. Actually, I have a review on the channel, so you can go check out my full thoughts. Leprechaun is a classic horror movie from the early 90s that I actually watched on St. Patrick's Day. It definitely wasn't as good as I remembered. I definitely noticed a lot of the cheesier aspects of it, but I still enjoyed it. Gave it a 3.5, or gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Network was a really solid movie. It definitely wasn't a masterpiece for me, the level of a lot of people, or of what a lot of people made it out to be. Directed by Sidney Lumet. I enjoyed the movie. Again, I wasn't completely engaged with the story and all the directions that it went in, but it was fine. Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, gave that a 3.5 out of 5. There's good aspects of that movie in there. And yeah, go check out my full review. I've got thoughts on that. Rad right here, guys. Also reviewed this one, 2.5 out of 5 stars. The Steelbook's awesome, though. Go check out my review. Zack Snyder's Justice League, guys. Me and 4K Corner broke this movie down a couple weeks ago on this show. So if you haven't seen my thoughts on it, go check it out. But I gave it a 4 out of 5. I liked it. Event Horizon, guys, gave it a 4 out of 5. Really liked this movie a lot, too. Classic science fiction horror film from the 90s. Also got a review up on the channel, so go check it out. The Last Blockbuster, gave that a 4 out of 5. This was a random watch on Netflix, came out in 2020. That was actually a really interesting documentary just about something that would probably interest a lot of people who subscribe to this channel. It's basically about collecting and physical media, and just the importance of physical media, and just the communal aspect of everybody getting together at a video store, just talking about the physical versions of the movies that they love. So I thought this was a cool little documentary, and just how the dangers of like where we're going with streaming, and how everything's just in the cloud, and we don't own this stuff and how it could go away, and just the importance of collecting and keeping things physical. So I actually found this documentary to be really, really cool. So I give that a 4 out of 5. Yes Day is a movie that I watched with my wife and kids, and it was a fun comedy. Jennifer Garner is perfectly charming in this movie. I give it a 3 out of a 5. Prince of Darkness. This is going into my Scream Factory run that I did when I was on vacation. Prince of Darkness, a John Carpenter movie. I might go more into depth into this in a future video, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. I liked it. 3.5 out of 5. The House That Jack Built. I actually reviewed this on my Instagram last week, so you can go check that out. 4 out of a 5. Very messed up movie for sure. The Slumber Party Massacre. Just reviewed this last night on the channel, so go check that out. 4 out of a 5 stars for that. The Blob, 1988, 3.5 out of 5 stars. Enjoyed that one as well. Peter Jackson's King Kong. Did enjoy this movie. Like I said, a little bit long. I think they take a little bit too much time to get to the island, but once they do, definitely some awesome stuff. 4 out of a 5 stars. Scare Me is the movie that RLJE released that I didn't love, but I respected for its ambition and trying something different. Gave it a 3.5 or 3 out of 5 stars. The Great Gatsby, 3 out of a 5 stars for that. Leonardo DiCaprio is good. The movie's not great though. Nobody, 4.5 out of 5. Again, we talked about that earlier. Really good movie. Godzilla versus Kong, a 4 out of a 5. And Rent-A-Pal, which is a movie that seriously surprised me. And I'll flip back here real quick. It is a movie that seriously surprised me because it's just, I bought the physical media expecting it to just be like another, I don't know, straight to video thriller that was okay. Kind of like Don't Tell a Soul, but I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. That movie is really good. If you guys have been on the fence about picking that up, definitely check it out. It's got, I'm trying to think, Will Wheaton in it. And he kind of plays this character on a VHS tape, and it goes in some really interesting directions, and all the performances in it are fantastic. Everybody is great, and it's just a really solid mystery thriller that I recommend that everybody check out. So, all right, going to go ahead and stop the screen there, guys. Let's go ahead and get into the comment section and see if you guys put anything that you guys watched over the month. Let's see. Tony Movie Chappie said, man, you're one lucky guy to experience the Lost World in theaters. So jealous. Yeah, I remember experiencing the Lost World in theaters, and I do remember loving it. So that's the perks of being old, Tony. We get to have all these memories of 90s and 80s movies in the theaters. PR Puerto Rico says, you ever see the movie Johnny Tsunami? I have not, PR Puerto Rico. Biffer the Hobbit said, my favorite movie I watched in March, The Treasures Sierra Madre. Okay, I might have to check that out then. 4K Mini Guy says, I watched Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter for the first time. What's your thoughts on it? I enjoyed it. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. It looked kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I have the book. Interestingly enough, I found it at a Goodwill, so I bought it. I was really into buying like novelizations of books a couple of years ago. So every time I would go to a Goodwill, anytime I seen like a novelization of a movie, I would buy it. I didn't care because it's only like $1 at Goodwill anyway. So I've got like 50 novelizations of just like random movies over there in the closet. I think I've got like Hunter Killer, which is a movie that came out like with Gerard Butler, I think a couple years ago. I've got the novelization for that. Just bought all kinds of novelizations. So I do have it. I have the book, but I haven't actually seen the movie. Waiting is funny, good comedy. I agree. It's still pretty fun. PR Puerto Rico says, I got only 4 new movies to watch. Need to see them maybe tomorrow. Yeah, watch them tomorrow. Back to back to back, man. 4K Corner said, liked Waiting, especially Vanessa Lenges. Who is that? I don't know who that is. I'll have to think of, I'll have to look her up. Was she Anna Faris was in the movie. I'll have to check and see who you're talking about. Manny Legal said, watch Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. It's directed by the director of Dog Day Afternoon. Yep, Sidney Lumet. It's a crime thriller with great performances from Philip Seymour Hoffman and Ethan Hawke. Yeah, that is one that I did want to watch. It has a Shout Factor release too, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check that one out. My Sidney Lumet watches are not done. Even though the month is over, I'm still going to try to watch 12 Angry Men this year, but I think that I'm going to wait till that Criterion sale so I can order the Criterion Collection copy of it so I can own it. Let's see. She was the hostess. Okay, I got you. The one that Ryan Reynolds was going after. 4K Corner said, got to watch Leprechaun in the Hood. I have not seen that since it came out in like 2001. So and I haven't seen the sequel to that at all. And I haven't seen the most recent Leprechaun Origins and Return. So don't even know if those are worth watching. But I remember enjoying 2, 3, and Go to Space when I was a kid. So who knows if those are going to hold up. Ben Grimm said, watch The Unholy in theaters Friday. It was not that good. Also, Crawlers on St. Patrick's Day. Awesome. Yeah, I've heard mixed things about The Unholy, so I'm definitely interested in checking that out. Ben Grimm said Grabbers on St. Patrick's Day. I mean, okay, Grabbers and Crawlers. Both sound like very interesting films. So with that, guys, we are going to end this week's episode of Ken's Movie Experience. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Liking the video, donating. We got a couple donations at first. I appreciate that as well. Everything that you guys donate always goes straight to the channel, for upgrading equipment and doing shows like this and all that stuff. So definitely always appreciate it. Again, if you guys haven't liked the video yet, we got about 20 people in here right now. Please hit that like button. Definitely like this video. I would definitely appreciate it. And also, if you want to leave me a comment after we go off the air, just what did you watch in the month of March? What did you think of Godzilla versus Kong? Anything you want to comment. Good show. I enjoyed it. I hated the show. Terrible show. This is what you can do to improve it. Leave all of that in the comment section below. I just want to hear your thoughts, want to hear your engagement. And I would definitely appreciate it. And if you're watching on the replay, again, like the video. Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. Let me talk about a few things that I got coming to the channel this week before I get off. Of course, I'm going to be back for my physical media report tomorrow, like always on Monday, episode 51. Then we're going to be coming back for a Blu-ray hunt on Tuesday, like always. And then Tuesday night, I'm going to be having Alex Thomas on my World's Biggest Collectors show, podcast, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be talking physical media, talking about a variety of movie-related topics, so that should definitely be cool. And it looks like I am going to be watching Scarface for the first time this week because that is the 4K that won out. I put up a poll on my channel asking you guys what you wanted my next review to be, and it's been pretty back and forth between that and Godzilla 2014, but it looked like Scarface has pulled away from it significantly since then. So I'm going to be watching the 4K of Scarface this week and giving that a review. There'll probably be some more hunting videos this week as well, probably a thrifting vlog. So definitely plenty of content coming to the channel. Go check out my Slumber Party Massacre review that I dropped last night, my March Blu-ray haul that I dropped the night before, and my Tremors 4K review the day before that. But again, guys, appreciate everybody being here tonight. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on those bell notifications, and we'll see you next time.